Welcome. I'm Amy, an intuitive spiritual teacher, peace minister, healer, law of attraction coach, pet psychic, true love guru, and your biggest cheerleader. Serving the whole world from my headquarters in Texas, I'm here to guide and empower you through this great awakening in truth and consciousness. Join my private membership association today at awakenedalliance.org, where you can purchase an emergency video or remote reading. Join my Daily Boost subscription for extra energetic support. Ask a question on my Ask Amy Q&A, including true love spreads. Talk with other like-minded people in my forum, or even sign up for personal mentoring. Always check beneath my videos for my latest links and timestamps, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful day. Hey guys, I have been prompted by Spirit to put out a special talk today for the Divine Feminines to let you know you have a very, very important life purpose coming up with this new earth and this huge transformation that we're going through right now. So, for those of you who don't know about the true love journey, I don't believe that we're going to be going forward. I don't think it's going to be a gender role type thing. So we already have like gays and lesbians, you know, same sex couples, and we have you know, the males and the females, the masculines, the feminine energy and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's all coming to a balance. And then just like in the Celestine prophecy, whoever's more intuitive in any given situation is the one going to be the one that takes the lead. And the other one is just going to be supportive. You know, somebody steps up and they're playing the lead role in one scene, and the next scene, it's the other person, depending on what's needed at that moment. So I just think that we are needing to come into balance. And you guys know that the true love journey goes right along with what's happening in our world right now. So we are being, I believe and I feel in my heart that we're being groomed to be leaders of what's to come. And God is using, God meaning group of deities, consciousness, oneness with spirit, oneness with all. God is basically shaping and forming us into what's possible in the future to be like the shining beacons for the rest of humanity as they awaken. So, and they're using true love as the boot camp in a way. You know, it's perfect because, you know, only because of your love for that person are you willing to grow past your ego and your issues and your blockages and all that kind of good stuff, right? So those are a couple of things I wanted to mention right off the bat, as I don't think it's going to be, it is important that you know, it needs to be female and male, and they do have certain roles. Absolutely, yes. So I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying, you know, because everything has its purpose. But I'm also saying that I do believe that it's going to not be, you know, you always have to be the one who's working. You always have to be the one who's cooking. You always have to be the one who's quiet. You always have to be the one who's boisterous, you know, so it's going to be an intuitive thing going forward. I feel that's what it's coming into. So, yeah, what was the next thing I wanted to talk about? I think I just did. Okay. So I wanted to talk about, like, I talked to you guys. I've talked to thousands of you throughout the years that I've been helping people with true love. So I wanted to mention some of the ways that the divine feminine sabotages herself on this journey. And then what you can do about it and how it correlates with what's going on in the world as well. Okay. So the first one I wrote down was that you think because he's ghosting you, he doesn't like you. So just because, and also like in the world, what that translates into, just because it's quiet doesn't mean that God has turned its back on you. So there is just the time of quiet. If you are talking to a professional like myself that does a reading for you, and we look at the tarot cards and we feel into our intuition, and we do this for a living, and you know in your heart and soul when you met this person, or when you guys had your moment of wow, it's you, then you guys know that it was real. But what you do is go back and forth and, oh, but they're not calling, but oh, they were supposed to. And then, and then when you realize true love goes through a separation phase where the both of you mature tremendously being apart, and you need that gravitation toward each other and the magnetism that happens between the two of you to really bring out the best in you. It brings out the worst in you, but that ends up bringing out the best in you when all is said and done. But it's a maturing process that has to happen through the separation phase. Understanding that is really, really important because it evolves you, just like in the world, we have all the extremes, and then we have the separation of the duality and all the well, your stance is here, your stance is there. Ultimately, it helps everybody evolve and mature and be willing to look at things they've never looked at before, change their perspective on things like they've never been willing to before, because they ultimately want to come back to harmony, and that's what happens in true love. So you need to know that. It's not that he doesn't like you. Know in your heart of hearts what the truth is for you, and believe what it is that God, through tarot cards and your own intuition, because that's how God speaks to us, is of the many, many different ways that all the plethora of ways that God communicates to us, through meditation, through tarot cards, through oracle cards, through a rabbit running in front of you, through a bird talking outside your window, through sounds in your environment, through, God is limitless. Okay. So believe those things. Don't make it about you. And the fact that you start questioning yourself is perfect. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Am I too fat? Am I not perfect enough? Am I not the right age? Am I this, that, and the other thing? It's supposed to make you go through. It's by design. It's supposed to make you doubt yourself so that you can face your demons and your shadows and you can knock it off. It's really about that. It's designed to make you go inside, to keep going inside and keep saying, okay, this is bringing up abandonment issues with me. This is making me feel like, oh, I wonder if he's actually kind of a narcissist in the way that he's behaving right now. What does that bring it up for me in my relationship to narcissism or narcissists? Or how am I being a narcissist in my own life? It gets you reflecting on yourself. And it teaches you, when you don't have that communication, it really points the mirror back at you that you're trying to put onto somebody else. Okay. So you make the problem all about the other person and don't work on your own issues. So yes, and we're doing that in the world in the same way, like giving your power away to the bad guys instead of looking at your own shadow. So what am I seeing out there that's something I can stop pointing a finger at? He is so immature. If only he would mature, we would be together already. We would be talking already. If only he knew the right words to say, I could be put at ease and I would have a nice, peaceful, happy, harmonious life. If only he would cooperate and we could be doing this, that, and the other thing, and already working on our passion project. Or, when we do that, we are not taking personal responsibility. So, and this is happening obviously out in the world too, saying, well, if only those guys would cooperate, if only they'd put the EBS already out there so we would all know what's going on and people can wake up. Or if only, these people over here would stop giving into this and stop, they'd all start rising up, we'd all be safe, right? But it's all by design again, trusting the universe and knowing that all is happening exactly as it should. It is for you to continuously face your demons. If every single person on the planet took personal responsibility and looked at what they saw out there and pointed it back to themselves to heal what's coming up for themselves, either the anger or the rage or the frustration that's coming up within you, or the judgment and the things that you have left to, because you're noticing it in somebody else, it's still left in you, that gets addressed. So all of it is so, so, so beautiful in this a part of our awakening and ascension process, and important even. There's no getting around it. I mean, I talk to so many people who want to take shortcuts. I think we're getting to that too. You hold on to resentment of past pain. Focusing on negativity of the past keeps you manifesting it in the future. So if you really want a bright future, you want to be on your very happiest timeline in our world, and you don't want the robots and the drones and all that to take over humanity, all this scary stuff to happen, stop dwelling on the past and stuff that's happened on the past. Now, if you do have to, I do believe we need to be aware of what's happened in our world so that we don't repeat history, and so that we can help others. So because we can be knowledgeable and we can be wise counsel and things for what's about to be revealed in our world. But be the observer. Be the observer when you're looking at it. Meaning, I just shared something on my Telegram channel about the experiment that was done about being an observer and how it changes everything. So just be observing you being the one who's watching the video, or be the one who's watching you talking to the people learning the information. Taking a step back away and detaching and being the observer of you instead of being you, the one who's experiencing whatever it is, the growth that you're going through. That is a transmutation process. And that is you stepping back actually into your higher self and your true soul essence to, to get your fingers in the whole thing and let God in, let go and let God in. Right. So that's an important part of the process as well. Face your demons. Take a good look at anything that triggers you at all, and remember to make it about you and not about that nuisance of a person or that annoying person, or sometimes you have to get it out and complain, but always remember that happened and go back and clean it up within yourself. It's never about that other person. It always comes back to you and what you need to heal within yourself, because other people wouldn't be getting triggered by the same things that you are. Okay. So you treat him based, now when I say him, that means the masculine. So that could be a her if the roles are switched, if the gender is switched. You treat him based on how much you like him rather than how much he's treating you or how much he loves you. So you like him so much, you're like, give. And you're not taking you need to be taking a look at how much he gives, how much you give. Well, he does this for me, so I do this for him. It needs to be like an equal thing as you're going along. You're not just you pouring out your heart and then them doing nothing and just crickets. How that translates also into the world is, this isn't the time to appease or comply, right? If you're treated with respect, then you give back respect. Then you show up with respect. So, yeah. Okay. So if somebody isn't treating you with respect, you pull back away from the situation. You disengage, basically. So if your masculine is ghosting you, you need to just be completely focused on yourself. And you need to say, you know what, that's disrespectful, or you know what, that's rude, or I don't like to be talked to that way. And I would definitely advise always being honest and being upfront with the person if you can, if you have that capability. Look, I don't appreciate being talked to that way. So, hey, let's take a little break. You go do what you got to do. We can talk when you're going to be nice to me, or something like that, So set your boundaries and have good boundaries. But also be super honest about where you're at and where you're coming from and what you feel and what you think. Try not to leave the other person in the dark, but it's also a way of training people how to treat you. So stop giving so much, and also stop caring so much. You got to get to a point where you're like, hey, I am not God here. I'm not going to play God. It's all going to work out as it's supposed to. So I'm just going to let it all unravel just like it should. If it's meant to be, it will be, right? If it's destined, it will be. I don't need to push my way through it and force it and make it happen. Okay, you've become jaded and heartbroken about love, but that's exactly what the bad guys want. So don't give that to them. Don't let your true love be the reason that you turned cold and mean and nasty. Don't become a miser. Don't become a Scrooge because your true love treated you a certain way. And that would be like the ultimate injustice. So all you do is learn and grow in wisdom with your true love. and understand the journey, understand the journey, so you can, cultivate that wisdom within you and the experience within you. So which leads to some more points I'm getting to here. You're afraid to lose him if you let him go. I can't tell you how many times I've said, like, hey, let it go, but I'll lose him. No, it's the opposite. It's the absolute opposite. When you let go of something and you say, I'm not going to try to force it anymore, I'm just going to let it happen naturally if it's supposed to, just like in our world situation too. I can't force the EBS to happen. I can't force people to see what's going on. I can't force them to have an open mind. So what I can do is focus on me, cultivating the, good vibrations in me, do my visualization, do my meditation, all I can do is just focus on me and do what I can. And what that does is it gravitates them towards you as well. Letting go shows them that you trust them. I trust that this journey will come back around when it should. And meaning you're masculine, when you're mature enough to handle this. Just like, if you're mature enough to handle a certain situation you're going to be in with him or her as well. Both of you know each other, know yourselves, and know each other enough there should be like a sense of, okay, I trust that we have this incredible connection and that it's going to happen if it should. And if it does, and if he chooses another path, I'm going to trust that too. If he chooses to go get beat up by that karmic and to get raked through the coals and have all his money taken, so be it. That's his lesson, but there's got to be this trust in kind of a free fall into God's arms in a way. So the letting go is one of the most powerful ways the law of attraction will indeed bring something to you, is when you don't really care if it does, or you assume that it's coming and you don't worry about it. So I always say, like, you order the package and you don't sit there and fret. Well, when are they going to send it out? It doesn't show that it's shipped yet. Aren't they going to send it out? What if it doesn't get here on time? What if it's going to be a day late? And you got to just like throw it out there and be like, I placed my order and I'm going to trust everybody's going to do their job and get the package here. That's what's happening. You got all these angels working on your behalf. You got fairies, you got unicorns, you got like everything you can imagine that's over there in the unseen world. Some of us can see them, but most people can't. But we have like a whole army working on our behalf on the other side. So at some point you just got to say, you know what? I just trust that God is good. The life is good, and the perfect person for me will come at the perfect time and in the perfect way, and will make all of this, all of the wrongs right, and will make all of this waiting worth it, and all of the self-grooming and the self, work and the looking at my shadows, all worth it. All the pain worth it. You're not going to be just left hanging and God's laughing as you're passing to the other side. Ha ha, I really fooled you. It's like, no, it's all working for your benefit anyway. All of it is always going to balance out in the end. So all of your pain, your heartbreak, your working on yourself, you facing all of this tough stuff and all of the love that you're exhibiting for yourself in this process are not going to be in vain. Okay, so this is how you get on top of the situation. If you're feeling like a victim in a true love situation, okay, you think of yourself as a queen or even an empress. An empress oversees the entire kingdom, or the entire, sector, or the entire area. There may be a queen of a certain city or a queen of this city, and there's all these different queens, but the empress oversees all of them. So she is all about fairness and justice. And back in the day, like a long time ago, like before they switched everything around, women were the ones who were leading the world. And underneath, at the core, and a lot of you don't even know this, but at the core of like things like the mafia and the dark side and the Luciferians, all that stuff, at the core, at the very, very core, if you really trace it back to the most powerful people in those structures, they are women, not men. Does that surprise you? It shouldn't, because women And we are coming back into our power. And no, that does not mean that we're going to be emasculating men at all. It means that we are starting to realize what we are made of and just how strong and powerful we are, that it's been suppressed all this time. We've been, put down in so many different ways, just like everybody else, just like they've tried to trick everybody else through this whole entire time. It is time for us to take our power back. And in the same way, like so many people are going to be enlightening and ascending and going into the 5D, once they also realize that they're not this person with this name and this body and this image and the t-shirts they wear and the cars they drive and the roles they play and all that kind of nonsense. It all comes about, it comes back to shedding off all the falsities and getting down to the actual truth, past what they've been tricking us with all the propaganda. Okay. All right. So some pointers: take care of your kingdom. Okay. So see yourself as a ruler of your kingdom. Please don't do that. Thank you. Okay. So take care of your kingdom above everything. Get aligned with your purpose and pour your attention into your purpose, wholeheartedly pushing through any insecurities or self-imposed prison. So don't wait for your savior, your masculine, to show up on the scene before you turn into Hercules, the female Hercules, Wonder Woman. Turn into Wonder Woman now. Go embrace your power now. Go get that business now. Go move to that location now. Whatever sets you on fire, whatever way you can step up as the leader of your kingdom, as the Empress, do so, and do so now. If you're afraid of public speaking, get your butt out there now. If you're afraid of getting up on stage, get your butt out there now. If you're afraid you're not a good enough singer, get yourself a coach, a singing coach. If you're afraid of whatever your fears are, go face them. And energetically, you are attached to your true love. So you'll be helping them do the same exact thing. So focus on your kingdom first and foremost, Empresses. Okay. Practice your leadership skills. Do what is right, no matter the consequences, so you can be the example. That's how we're becoming the leaders of tomorrow, as the feminines. Very important. Step into your leadership role. Take all your lumps, whatever you have to, but you be the leader and you blaze the trail and you pave the way for everybody else. If you're not doing that, you're not doing your job. If you're just sitting at home, relaxing, waiting for your masculine to come through the door before you do anything, it ain't happening, girlfriend. No matter how much you think that could happen, no matter how many romantic comedies you sit and wish could happen, or bonbons you eat, or whatever, it's not happening. You can be doing your bonbons in your movies too, but make sure that you are, being the leader and doing all that you possibly can to become sovereign and free and to stand up for what's right and to be that leader you were meant to be. Okay. Practice your intuitive abilities. Follow divinely guided promptings without hesitation. Learn to trust your intuition and act on it immediately when prompted. And that way you'll get more and more opportunities by God to go after what it is that will bring you the most fulfillment and happiness ultimately. Okay. Learn and grow from all things that appear in your experience as negative. Good girl. The distractions that happen when I'm out in this room. Learn and grow from all things that appear in your experience as negative in order to teach others the same way of taking personal responsibility. So again, setting the example, we're going to learn and grow from this. We're not going to become a victim. We're not going to act like a victim. We are the Empress. All that happens is on purpose. It's purposeful. Even if it seems negative, it wasn't. And reach for how that's possibly true. Do my exercise. Thank you, God, for my misery. It'll help switch anything that you feel victimized by into you being in your power and seeing exactly why your higher self put you through that. And it is for a good reason, not for a bad reason. It's not to take you down. It's to make you the best Empress you can be. Allow suitors to approach. Stand in your power as a detached observer when they do. And don't take him or her offer seriously unless he catches your attention and his actions out of integrity and authenticity. So you're up on your throne. Everybody's in the room. There's like hundreds of people all waiting to hear the queen speak and to hear the Empress
give her orders to the kingdom, which will keep them safe and save the people and bring food to everyone in the kingdom. You're up there on this throne, and a guy comes forward wanting your heart. And they're lined up at the back of the room, and they're scared shitless, but somebody comes forward finally, right? Queen, I'd like to be your man. And you say, please state your case. I'd love to hear. Why do you believe you should be my man? Well, listen to what he has to say. Open heart, open mind. Yes, yes. I understand. And you spent time doing that. Yes, you did. Yes, yes. But don't, watch from that observer standpoint. Stay neutral, stay detached, and wait for that moment that actually shows you through his actions. Wow, that took some guts. Wow, that he was in his integrity. He was in his power there. All right. All right. He's got my attention now. And then you're like scooting forward in your chair. All right, tell me more. What more? And then you're getting all like, oh, all right. And then you're willing to lean forward and listen, really listen to what he's got to say then. But not until then. Just let him talk and then just be like, next. If he sounds like a clown, if he sounds immature, if he sounds like he's just not got it together yet, in the sense that these guys don't have to be perfect. That's one of their biggest fears. Okay. That you're going to be up there like, oh, you're not perfect. Hit eject. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about somebody who comes forward and they know that you're the Empress and they're not treating you as such, period. They don't have to have all the money in the world. What you want is their heart. What you want is integrity. What you want is for their words and their actions to measure up, for them to actually do what they are saying, for there to be like this, a safe place. They need to be your safe place. You need to feel like you can trust them. You need to feel like they really have your back. And if they can provide that, and if they can show you, look, I am the emperor. I am also the emperor of my kingdom. I have saved my people. I have taken care of X, Y, and Z that were an issue before, and they are not now. I have done this and that, and I have done so in your name. So, madam, if you could please consider us pulling our kingdoms together, then please. And so you just want them to come forward in such a way that they are honest. They're a safe place for you to talk and to feel and to express yourself. They'll listen to you. They'll truly listen to you, not make up stories about what you really mean by that. But yes, please tell me so I can understand, so I can truly understand, and not jump on the first thing that makes me, triggered and argue with you. You know what I mean? So, put your own happiness in a high vibration first and foremost. So your masculine starts making you feel uncomfortable, he starts acting like a jerk, or he starts acting like anything like that, and it starts making you feel like who you used to be years ago, or starts making you feel jealous and he's doing it on purpose to play games with your head, or he starts acting a certain way like he has control over you, or if he starts like, if it creates anxiety, what's happening between you guys, it starts creating anxiety inside of you, that's not going to cut it. Pull back away from that situation and say, absolutely not. No way, no how. If it affects your kids, if it affects your pets, if it brings anxiety to your home, ixnay on that nonsense. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of that person necessarily, but that is not the time for you guys. Both of you need to go away from that situation and continue to do your growing and maturing to be able to get ready to be with each other. You can compromise, but don't sacrifice yourself for the sake of your person. It's really important that you can stand your own ground and know what you want, know the way you want to live your life or the way you want to feel in your life, and make sure that he can provide that. Do not give a part of you away just for him, just because He wants it, and you're willing to give that up so that you can be with him. Don't do that. Don't set. That's called settling. Don't settle. But if you focus on the feelings, I want to feel this way, you could still be able to compromise and move some things around so that you can still feel that way within, what he wants as well. Both of you guys can figure that out as long as both of you know how you generally want to feel about the situation, right? Your kingdom will collapse if you don't pay attention to the bigger picture of it all. So, yeah, don't let your kingdom come crashing down just because you are going to, settle. Because that king is going to come in. If he took control of you like that, he's going to come in and he's going to try to take your kingdom down, and he's going to try to take the controls, and he's not going to be as caring and loving and compassionate as you. Because that's what women bring to the table when they're leaders. Okay. Your kingdom includes pets, children, and nature, so treat them with respect and honor. And your masculine should too if he's an emperor. Treat sex as a sacred healing act, and preserve it only for those who've shown their energies will elevate you and elevate your own energies rather than someone who would contaminate your aura. That can mean many, many different things. But, you have this space that you've got yourself in. You've got a high vibration. You're feeling good about yourself. All of that should continue if you go to have sex with this person. If it's somebody you don't know who they were with yesterday, or they just had their what in somebody else just a short period ago, and you don't know what they were up to, or you happen to know that was a really nasty person, a really manipulative, person, don't get your energies entwined with that mess. Or make sure that you do some kind of a clearing or something like that. But I mean, when I hear about some of the feminines sometimes sleeping around, I'm like, what are you doing? You are an empress. You do not go throw your body around. Treat yourself with respect. Treat your body with respect. Know that you are a good quality empress. Your body, as flawed as it may be in whichever ways that it is perfect. And it is a treasure. And it is like the ultimate thing for your emperor to have his way with, okay? So treat it as such. Treat it as sacred. Treat it as, you would your most treasured possession, okay? Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Some of the masculines get so mad when I say this. Have multiple options in ways that you can expand your life. The law of attraction will bring you the ideal person, location, career, home, etc. So I'm not talking about just your suitors, although I really don't think you should fixate on just one person. That really puts a lot of pressure on them, number one. And number two, I can't tell you how many times they have to go learn a lesson and marry the wrong person, or be in a long-term relationship with the wrong person who makes them sick to their stomach and takes all their money and treats them like crap. And, it's just horrible. But they got to go through it to learn their lessons to be the ultimate for you. So, but, that could take years. It could take a really, really long time. So I say for you to leave your options open to other suitors. If that person chooses a different path, they go with a karmic path, and they have to go learn a bunch of lessons, then oops, they just took a detour that's not your fault. That they made that bad decision, or, they took that route, and, they took a chance on losing you. That was their chance to take. So yeah, they could lose you, and that's okay. It was their choice to make. Okay. So, act out of authenticity and integrity in all ways, and strive to speak only truth and love, or do not speak at all. So learn to hold your tongue instead of having to tell people things. I find sometimes in comments, I can tell where somebody's at from the comments they post. If they have to correct your language, tell you the correct way to say this, tell you if they're correcting you at all, they're in a judgmental place. They're in their ego, and they are not in a loving place. They're not loving themselves. They're critical of themselves. They're picking on themselves as well. So practice the art of staying quiet. You don't have to react to somebody who's doing a certain thing. You really don't. You don't have to say a thing. You can just completely step away from it and be like, they will learn their lesson. It's again that letting go thing. So learn to be wise. And if you can't say it out of love or authenticity, don't say it at all. And go do your inner healing on whatever the issue was. If it really stays with you and really bothers you that it happened, go do your work on it. It's about you. Remember, it's not about that other person. Now, the next one is to love yourself. If you do speak out of anger or frustration, which does happen because we're human beings and we do still have an ego, at least at this point, then love yourself. If you do speak out of anger or frustration, love yourself for it. Show yourself that you are there for you unconditionally. So first and foremost, you have to love yourself and not be critical of yourself, or you will not be able to love your masculine the way that he needs. And same with him. He needs to be able to love himself in order to truly be there for you and love you like you need. So everybody needs to focus on loving themselves and just being your own best friend. I love you even when you're pissed off and upset and you do this and you say this and, oh my gosh, God forbid you did this, but I love you anyway. That is the ultimate in learning unconditional love for yourself first and then in others. Okay. Because otherwise you won't be able to love it in others, because that's why we pick on other people. That's why we judge them, is because we can't do it with ourselves. That's why it starts with ourselves. Okay. Strive to heal and to see truth. So always on the first and foremost, I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to heal myself through this. So ask yourself if what you're doing right now is like a queen or an empress. Like, think the never ending story. She's such a great example of an empress. I mean, there was something about that little girl that you were just like, whoa, she exuded such power. Okay, so ask yourself, and I just said this, I know. If what you're doing right now, so what am I doing with what I'm doing right now, is this what a queen or an empress would do? Is this what a queen or an empress would do? If not, what would you do or say differently? So no matter what kind of situation you find yourself in, am I being an empress? Is this what an empress would do? I probably wouldn't be arguing. They probably wouldn't want to prove that they are right. They probably wouldn't be causing a rift. They probably, and so what would they do? Well, they would probably try to pull both sides together. Well, they would probably try to create harmony. They'd probably be compassionate with this, but yet they would still practice boundaries. So just think that through on a regular basis and repeat to yourself on a regular basis. I am an empress. I am an empress. I am an empress. I am an empress. And you shall become one. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Go be that empress. Go be the queen you truly are inside. Talk to you next time.